We would like to acknowledge the Turrbal and Jagera people as the traditional owners of the land from which we are recording this episode. We are coming to you from Meanjin country. We pay our respects to elders past and present and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening today. Aleena, how are you?
Oh, we're almost at the end of the year, Janine.
Yeah, it's been a great year, but it's been a big year. I am exhausted.
This is exactly what we said last year.
I know.
We said we are tired and we don't care.
We are.
And that was the birth of Muck Up Day.
Yes, and here we are doing it all again.
Let's get into it.
Let's go.
It's Muck Up Day 2022 at Sister Doctor Squared. 2 sisters, 2 PhDs, relentlessly curious about too many things.
Yay!
Welcome to Muck Up Day 2022. It went well last year.
Giggles.
Yeah. People seem to really love it. In this science podcast, we had an episode that had no science and it went quite well.
It did.
So we're here again.
I really do have the giggles. Sorry. I need to compose myself. No, I was just saying before the music came in, I am exhausted, but I am really looking forward to this episode. We have done a little bit of thinking about the year and some reflecting, and yeah, it's been a huge year. So much has happened, personally, professionally, in the podcast. It's been good.
So we're going to do a few of the segments that we did last year. Well, we've got a couple change up. You've got to change it up. You've got to mix it up.
Yeah.
But just to recap, what is Muck Up Day?
I was just going to say that.
Yes, we first did this episode last year and we called it Muck Up Day in the tradition of, at least here in Australia, where we went to school, the last day of school was called Muck Up Day. Mm-hmm. And it was the day where not a lot of work gets done, there's very little productivity. It's essentially the teachers babysitting the students.
And a lot of pranks and a lot of
That's right.
mucking around. Hence Muck Up Day.
Because it's the last day of school and no one has any motivation to do anything.
That's right.
So that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
So shall we start with what is the biggest thing we learned on the podcast
Hang on,
this year?
before we get into that, I just wanted to say that, do you realise, Aleena, it's episode 21? So I just wanted to call out, I think that's a pretty big milestone for us because, you know, it's our 21st.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yes. Happy 21st episode.
Happy 21st to us.
That's great.
Some podcasters managed to get that done within a few months.
Yes, I guess we should point out that we have day jobs and
we do. I have multiple day jobs.
Yeah. All right. Now, what is the biggest thing that we've learned on the podcast this year? Janine, shall I go first?
Yeah, sure.
So for me, I think it was the evidence around going with your gut, which we first mentioned, I believe, in Muck Up Day last year, that we were going to do an episode on that
topic. Because it had just started to come up for us.
Yeah. We didn't know what we were going to find.
No.
If anything. But we did find some really great stuff. And the controlled experiment you shared, Janine, it was about buying a car, so somewhat limited in context, but we talked about that. And it showed that, firstly, focusing on gut feelings led to a better decision when the decision was complex.
Yes.
It also showed that participants were more likely to feel confident and satisfied with their decision when it was based on their gut feeling, and that overthinking the gut feelings led to worse decisions. And you and I talked about this, Janine. We talked about how it was so at odds with how we've been trained as scientists to think.
Yeah, and a lot of my colleagues that I know from sciences commented on how helpful they found the episode too. So we're not alone, Aleena.
Well, there you go. That's brilliant.
I have really applied it. I have applied it a lot this year.
And there was also, in that same episode, the systematic review that I covered looking at general practitioners, GPs using their gut feelings in the process of diagnosing cancer among their patients, and that when gut feelings were reported by GPs, the odds of a patient being diagnosed with cancer were 4 times higher than when no gut feelings were reported.
Very significant.
It was fascinating stuff. And really our message was, it's not always going to be right, of course,
No,
but don't dismiss the gut feelings.
That was the key, because I would have done that a lot.
Totally.
In hindsight, I have done that a lot, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm factoring it in.
Nonsense, this gut feelings. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was it for me. We've come full circle on the Muck
thanks
update.
to everyone who got in touch about that episode and let us know that you found it helpful. That was really awesome to hear as well.
So what about you, Janine?
For me, it would be one of the more recent episodes, the episode around music and emotion, and the idea that when we're going through a difficult time in life, it can be really helpful to lean into creative activity to help process and get through it. I think I've instinctively done that at times, but now it's really conscious. I will definitely just go straight there. I think it's going to be really nice. And also the episode around blue light, I think I said in the episode that I've been really good with my devices turning down the blue light, but I would still have all the lights on in my house, and it just made me realise that I really need to turn those off as well.
Yes, it's not just your electronic handheld devices.
No, so I've gone and purchased a fair few lamps.
Fantastic. Well, on that note then, I can say that I have made some inquiries at an unnamed optometrist and eyewear store that I happen to be waltzing by to see about their blue light filtering glasses.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still
so you haven't got them yet.
open for any offers, any specials that I can assist with.
So they haven't flooded in yet.
No, but there's still time, people.
Okay. Mental note, Aleena's Christmas present. Okay, so...
Oh, very good.
All right, so what about the next thing I have on the agenda is the biggest thing that we learned in general this year.
Oh, yes. And it's not necessarily a scientific thing. This is getting broad and sometimes personal.
Let's get deep. Let's get deep.
So for me, I would say that this year I have gotten much more aware of the importance of self-care.
Yeah.
For everyone, not just, me as an individual. And self-care has a broad definition, of course. But for me, one of the things that I think I need to get better at is saying no and saying no without feeling really bad about it. Have you noticed this, Janine?
Yeah, now that you say it, maybe a little bit, but in a good way. I've been thinking, for example, if I need babysitting, I go to you first every single time. And I have noticed occasionally you will say you can't do it. And I haven't been irritated at all. I go, okay, well, that's fine. I need to work out something else. It's not your responsibility to sort it out. So, yes, I have noticed.
Well, most of the time I say yes to that because I like doing that.
But you do. But you used to say yes every single time, and
I would move mountains to do it.
And I would then feel bad, going, "Oh no, mate, don't worry about it." And you're like, "No, I'll rearrange this. I'll do this." So that's good. I actually have been. I mean, that doesn't necessarily benefit me, but I'm overall happier because I can see that that's better for you.
Well, actually, do you know, yesterday you had asked me to look after David, and I had a dentist appointment. Yes. And so I said I couldn't.
Yes, you did.
Now, the dentist appointment was just a checkup. It wasn't an urgent thing. I could have easily moved that. And I said that to you, right? But guess what?
What?
In my appointment yesterday, he actually found, my dentist, hi Paul, he actually found a chip in one of my fillings and fixed it right there on the spot.
Oh,
so it was very useful that I kept that appointment.
Yeah, good.
There's some self-care.
On that, Aleena, are you available to babysit? This is genuine. Are you available to babysit on Friday the 9th of December? You're already babysitting on the Wednesday of that
my
week.
My people will get back to your people after we finish
remind
this
me, we do need to discuss that.
But one more example is...
Feel free to say no.
Yeah, sure. My people will get back to you.
Okay.
Now, just one more example before we moved on, because it's big things, it's small things, whatever. But do you remember recently you had to go to, that place, that one of those just like the random Swedish furniture store places. You had to go to one of those for
That
something.
place that we now call hell in our family.
You have a different name for it.
I went
yes.
to hell. Yeah, I went down to hell.
And you had to go to hell and you asked me to come and what did I say?
I don't remember.
I said no.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I remember that you didn't come, but I don't know if you said something more witty. Did you just say N-O full stop?
I don't remember. I just
remember
said
either.
no. And there you go. I really could. I don't know if it was important, if you needed me for something, but I just gave you a flat no for that one.
I was doing the what I've read about. It's called an errand hang. So when you're tight on time and you want to hang out with people, you could just invite them on your errands. It's called an errand hang.
Sure.
I was doing that.
You and I do
and she
plenty
said
of
no.
that. We do plenty of that, but I don't want to go to hell to buy a colon. Janine went to hell to buy a colon.
The mat that I bought is called a colon. And I said to Aleena, I'm going to hell to get a colon.
I said, I think I'll stay behind. And lastly, speaking of things that suck and that we hate, COVID. I think some of this is partly a hangover from COVID lockdowns because we were forced to slow down, you know. And part of that has really stayed with me in a very good way because I had COVID recently, as you know, Janine, and doing good self-care really served me well because I was very busy with work at that time. But I was also pretty sick.
Yeah.
And I looked after myself quite well during COVID. I think I had plenty of rest. I took rest when I needed it.
Yeah.
And listeners, that is why this is your final episode of the year and there wasn't one before this one because I was sick.
We were planning. Yeah, we had it ready and we had to abandon.
We did.
Because Aleena said no. And that's okay.
I said no. I wasn't up to it and my voice sounded like Tom Smith. We'll get to that later. I had a very deep voice. It's still a little bit there, I think. It's not quite fully recovered.
Maybe a little bit.
Anywho, those are my things. Janine, what have you?
Yeah, well, I just want to say on my, my Sudoku practice of collecting books and not reading them, one of them in the pile, I'm going to try and attack these on the holidays. One of them is called When I Say No, I Feel Guilty, about exactly what you're talking about. It's been recommended to me and I'm going to read it.
All right. Pause it to me when you're done.
I will.
Thanks. And so what has been your biggest learning in general in 2022?
Mine is absolutely leaning into authenticity and self-acceptance. And I don't know if this is just a natural progression of the age that I am because I'm turning 40 in a few months. Because I saw this meme, okay? Listen to this. And this is from Molly Pretty. Your 30s are for unlearning all the conformity you picked up in your teens and 20s and getting back to the weirdo you were as a kid. And I went, yeah, like it's funny, but I think it's true. And
That's insightful.
Someone has replied, Roberts and Frippery have replied, you will complete this stage at 40 when you will turn into the feral version of the weirdo you were as a child, except now you have money and can drive. And I'm like, yes. And then someone, Sweater Kitten... How good is this handle? Sweater Kittens Ahoy has said, I'm going to be 40 in a few months and this is very accurate. And I was like, yes, I feel like this is true. So that's been what it's been about for me this year, working out who am I and who was I as that feral child and getting back to that feral child. It's been great. And I also found this quote. So I've kind of, because this has been on my mind.
Can I just ask a question because pondering on that quote, Janine, does that mean that when I turn 40, I will once again start sporting a mullet?
Well, I don't know, Aleena. Is that your true, authentic self?
Well, that was
We both had mullets.
I had a feral mullet as a feral child.
For any international listeners, I don't know, do people know mullets outside of Australia?
I think they do.
What
mullet
is it?
Is a haircut that is short at the front and sides and long at the back. And I had one of those throughout a good chunk of my childhood.
What did they say? Business out the front, party out the back.
Yes, that's correct.
I can't believe our dad did that to us.
No, that was actually Mum.
Oh, Mum had one as well.
Yes, because I wanted short hair and she said no. And it was a tragic compromise to have short hair at the front as long as the back was long. So that's how I ended up with a mullet. I didn't choose a mullet for myself, Janine. It was bestowed upon me.
Oh, that's funny. I'm
see.
thinking of a picture of you around, I think you're probably 7 or 8, and can I have permission to share that on our Insta?
Oh, sure. It's Muck Up Day, so I don't care.
It's very cute.
Go for it.
All right. So because this has been on my mind, you know when something's on your mind, you just start noticing it everywhere?
Yes.
So things in books, things in memes, everything, it's all been coming back to this for me this year. And I found this quote by Lao Tzu. Because one believes in oneself, one doesn't try to convince others. Because one is content with oneself, one doesn't need others' approval. Because one accepts oneself, the whole world accepts him or her. Bam.
Yeah, boom.
That's it.
That's very good.
It is.
Good on you, Janine. Janine shares a lot of memes and mostly they're just silly. So it's good to see that your meme culture is also helping you with some really deep self-analysis.
I have multiple meme folders, Aleena. I have primary meme folder, Keanu Reeves meme folder.
Yes.
Then I have life memes, which are the more, insightful.
Okay, these are the ones you don't share with me on WhatsApp.
I don't share those, no.
You just send me the funny ones.
Sending memes is my love language, Aleena.
I know. I appreciate it, and so does everyone. All right, listeners, let's shift gears from all of that serious, deep stuff. Let's do some silly stuff and do funniest moment of the year, which we did do last Muck Up Day and we think it went quite well. People liked it. So, Janine, tell us, what was the funniest moment of the year for you?
Okay. Without a doubt, it was when we were at Tourette's camp, which we obviously mentioned a lot in our episode all around Tourette's syndrome. You, me, and my little boy were at Tourette's camp and there was a microphone available one afternoon and no one left in the presentation hall. And you and my child decided to do impromptu karaoke and you did Editors songs. Now, Editors are a UK, what progressive rock band would you class it as?
I don't know. Tom Smith just describes it as miserable music.
Yeah.
I watched one of their shows live, or not live. I watched a live show on TV and he said it was raining. I can't remember the festival, but it was pouring rain. And he said, "Thank you for coming out in this miserable weather to listen to our miserable music."
I saw an interview with him. So this Tom Smith is the lead singer. I saw an interview with him and he said he's quite drawn to making like dark, deep music. But in his life, he's actually quite a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. And I really related to that.
He's getting it all out in his music, perhaps.
Yes. So, yes, this was you and my boy singing Editors songs, which they're not all that – I mean, they're probably pretty big in the UK. They're not all that well known in Australia, but they're one of the few bands that everyone in our family likes.
Yes.
You know how it's hard to find something that everybody agrees is good?
Yes.
And we're talking all generations here. They are really good. Anyway, if listeners are not aware, we're going to put some of their songs into there already would be, but we'll put some more songs into our playlist. You have to go and listen to them because the reason why is that Tom Smith's vocal range is just out of control.
Yes.
And that's why the karaoke was so funny because I actually cannot sing along to some of their songs. His vocal range goes so low, I cannot match it.
It's when you're trying to impersonate how low he goes, it sounds like a parody because we just can't go that low. That's why it's so funny.
Aleena can almost do it. You can do it. So
I don't know what came over
my
us.
Boy sometimes.
Do not leave a microphone and amplifying an amp unattended while David and I are around and are in the mood to sing Editors songs because that's what we did.
Well, listen to this. So I went and I did some inner squaring on this. So I went and found a source. Now, look, it's not a peer-reviewed source. It's UK Daily Mirror. But they have a summary of UK pop and rock, who has the best vocal range. So I'm going to give you through. So they give the vocal range in octaves. So Freddie Mercury, lead singer of Queen, we all know, amazing vocal range, yes?
Mm-hmm.
His vocal range is 2.92, right? Keep that number in your head. Now we'll go Elton John. His is 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
David Bowie, the king, 3.58.
Yes.
Kate Bush, incredible vocal range, 3.17. Now, Tom Smith, drum roll, 4.75.
Whoa!
He has, and he's listed as number one. I think there's 20, and he is absolutely number one. So it confirms what we thought. And that's why I can't sing along, because my voice cannot stretch to the lows and highs. He can go so low, yet he can go so high. I went and found, so 2 songs. If people want to go listen to these, I would actually say stop listening to us right now and go and listen to this. Go and listen to Editors. If you want to hear the low range, go with Papillon, as in the French.
Make your escape. You're my own Papillon.
I didn't think you were going to do it.
Well,
see, now that was pretty deep.
So,
my dog is just next to me scratching the floor. I don't know if that's going to come through on the recording.
hi, Callie. I can see you on the Zoom
I think it's
screen.
Muck Up Day and we don't care, right?
No.
Good.
She didn't like my singing.
Go and listen to Papillon, and then back it up straight away with Editors. What is this thing called love? To hear how high this guy can go.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
pause
not going
right
to do
now.
one of those.
Go and do it. No. Good times. Anytime we go out together where we're all in the car, we inevitably end up doing Editor songs and attempting to sing
Well, we've
along.
also, that's just become an ongoing joke across the year where we just send each other voice messages of us trying different lines of Editors songs. And
yeah,
nephew
and mine are just
David
terrible.
does it too, and he's really funny.
He's quite good.
He's a young boy, so it's even harder for him to get that low.
But the thing with Tom Smith is like some songs, because if you're singing along and he'll go within one song really low to really high. So you can't anyway, yeah, go listen to it, everyone.
You were meant to find a song that exemplified that, but you didn't do that.
Oh,
so
no,
that's
I went and found a low song and a high
can,
song.
People can listen to the whole back catalogue of Editors. On the Sister Dr. Squared playlist, you'll find quite a few of their songs.
Yeah.
Just to plug for that again, it's on Spotify. It's called the Inner Square playlist by Janine.
And, my third favourite song of all time is the song Nothing by Editors. Go listen to that. It's a cracker.
Indeed. Very good. Are we going to me now?
I think we are.
Well, I'd have to say that car karaoke session where we were doing Tom Smith impressions would be up there with one of my funniest moments of the year. And then I would say there's another one, and it's also music related, and it's also one that sparked ongoing jokes and laughter. So a couple of months ago, Mel and I were at a medical centre.
Oh, okay. Now I know where this is going.
And we were in the waiting room waiting to go in for an appointment. Now, this medical centre is pretty new. It is schmick. It's very nice.
Okay.
Top shelf waiting room furniture and design.
Where is this?
It's in the Brisbane CBD.
Okay, yep.
Now, they are always playing pretty good music at this facility. I don't know who manages the playlist. It's not radio. There's no host, there's no ads, and there's too much of the music is not what you would hear on contemporary commercial radio.
Oh, yep, okay.
i.e. it's actually good music. And it's so diverse. Someone is making decisions about what gets played, and mostly I like their taste, but it's really diverse. Now, on this visit, there was some Sonic Youth.
Oh, nice.
Yes. There was some Pink Floyd.
Yes.
There was Taylor Swift.
Okay.
There was some Coldplay.
Oh, hello.
And then there was Conga by Gloria Estefan. Now, does everyone know Conga? Janine, will you sing it with
because
me?
you've been doing this to me all year.
Will you sing it with me? Come and take your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can deny yourself any longer. That one. So now we were there. Janine's lost it on the Zoom screen. It's just
I just trying to picture you sitting in a waiting room, which are usually quite sterile and
this is
bland.
my point. Now, and we were just there following up on some blood tests. Not a big deal, but it could have been, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And of course, that got me thinking some people might be there to get some pretty concerning news about their health potentially. Yep. And there's Gloria Estefan. I couldn't help but get into it. So there's me sitting there in my mask doing a little shimmy in the seat to conga.
Oh, dear.
And it did help lighten the mood.
Maybe that's why they're doing it. I'll tell you everyone what happens. Whenever we are together, Aleena will hack into the Spotify and just put that song on out of nowhere. They dance around to it.
And now it's time for our Sister Doctor Squared Awards ceremony. We've paired this one right back.
We have.
We've just got one very important award to give out.
Mm-hmm.
So... and
was that free?
Of course. So this is the Square of the Year award. We didn't labour over this one at all, really, because...
No, unanimous decision.
Yeah. There was one episode from this year that really stood out. You guys really seemed to dig it, and it was by a country mile, our most popular episode to date. It is the most downloaded of all time. Do we know what it is? Maybe we can hear a little snippet from that episode now.
So, for example, my tics and my Tourette's has been quite mild the last few years, up until this new career trajectory of being a keynote speaker and an ambassador for Tourette's. I'm always talking about it.
Yes.
I'm always being asked about it. I'm always thinking about it. So therefore, my tics are going through the roof because talking about it, thinking about it, people asking you questions about it.
Yeah, of course.
They're triggers. So. Yeah, if you ask someone to stop it, they're like, uh-oh, and they're in that little loop of don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, which is a huge build-up and then a pop.
Yes.
Which isn't good.
No, that's right. So I also wanted to raise another misconception, which I did hear a little bit from certain people when my boy was first diagnosed, and that's, don't worry, he'll grow out of it. And I have some thoughts about this, but I want to ask your thoughts about that sort of statement, Seamus.
Well, when I was first diagnosed, the doctor did say it would leave by the time I was 18. Well, I'm 31. So, and I'm still ticking like a Swiss watch. So...
and that was, of course, episode 16, The Truth About Tourette Syndrome with Seamus Evans.
Yay!
Yes. A very special episode for all three of us, wasn't it, Janine?
Yeah, that's right.
Of course, Seamus and Janine's little boy both have Tourette syndrome, and we're all engaged in the Tourette syndrome community, which is so cool.
Yep.
And there we were busting some myths that you can, for example, just decide to stop ticking and that everyone with Tourette syndrome will simply grow out of it.
Yeah, we definitely want to thank everyone for engaging with this episode. So much love for this episode. So many people got in touch with us. New connections made through this one. And we were just thrilled to be involved in raising awareness of this syndrome. And Seamus, what a champ.
What a champ.
Yeah.
I think what makes this episode different from the others is someone other than us is in it.
Yeah. Speaking probably more than us.
And is, featured quite heavily. So what Janine and I have taken from this is clearly people like us, but they might just want slightly less of us.
Yeah,
so
right.
With that, I am very pleased to announce that the Square of the Year award goes to Mr. Seamus Evans.
Yay!
Now, Seamus couldn't be here with us today, but he did leave us this touching message.
Yes.
Oh, woohoo! Party time! Square of the Year. I mean, I never won anything at school. I always got the participation award. So to win Square of the Year for Sister Doctor Squared podcast, I mean, I am absolutely floored. There's no trophy that you guys have presented me with. So instead, I've just written down on a Post-it note, I am Square of the Year. And I put it on my whiteboard every day to look at to remind myself. No, honestly, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I love the fact that my guest appearance on your podcast was like the number one download. That is amazing. And it's so great to have that opportunity to share all of the awareness and information on Tourette syndrome. So thanks so much for having me on, and enjoy Muck Up Day. For Muck Up Day at my school, we just water bombed everybody and used to like put super glue on chairs and things like that. Everyone always spoke about the rumor about someone bringing a cow to school and putting him on the top floor because cows can't walk downstairs. They can only walk up. But, that was the rumour going around for many, many years. Hey, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I love watching your podcast grow from strength to strength. I mean, how do you get the most award-winning podcast of all time? One episode at a time. How do we live life one day at a time? How do we climb a mountain one step at a time? And how do we live with Tourette syndrome one tick at a time? Thanks so much, guys.
Oh, Seamus. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that was
We
good.
love that. What a message. One day at a time. Go, Seamus.
Yes.
We have since sent Seamus a token of
I know. I
a
was
physical
like, oh,
token
whoops.
of our appreciation after he reminded us that might be a nice thing to do. Super glue on chairs, that's intense.
Yeah. Water bombing definitely happened when we were at school. I do
was
remember
just
that.
going to say. Seamus'
I know.
school mucked up in much more creative and destructive ways than ours, it seems.
That's right. I know his school, so next time I'm in that area, I'm going to work out where would a cow have been put on top of a building.
Indeed. Yeah. We just did water bombs, like you said. Our gags didn't involve any livestock. Well done, Seamus. And many congratulations. So we cannot have any Sister Dr. Squared awards ceremony without mentioning the Queen. Janine, who is it?
Queen Björk.
Queen Björk.
Yep.
And Queen Björk just gets an award for existing and making music.
Do you
and
know
just
what?
being
I'm going to say,
herself.
for being her authentic self. I'm not even joking.
Yes. And
She's
also
very
because
inspirational.
That's right. Also because we said last Muck Up Day that Björk will get an award every year for whatever reason we decide at the time.
Yep.
And we also have to mention the amazing Adrian Diary, composer and sound design extraordinaire, who does all of the mastering of audio for this podcast and has mastered every episode for the year. Thank you so much to Adrian.
Yes. Massive thank you, Adrian.
Indeed. And Adrian is super cool. He is involved in many exciting things. I suggest you follow Adrian on social media and perhaps visit Adrian's website to keep abreast of exciting things to come.
Yes. You can find links to that on our website.
So congrats, Seamus. We love you, Björk. And thank you, Adrian.
Yay.
Woo! And now, as is tradition, before we move to wrapping things up, we've got to do In a Square.
We do.
So, Janine, please tell us, what, have you got a regular In a Square or have you got like a grand finale?
I have a
end
new
of the
one
year In a
because
Square?
I have had a very big In a Square moment recently.
All right.
I was having a debate with a friend. He stated that he likes to give candles as gifts. Mm-hmm. And he stated that all women love candles. And I said,
That's quite a general statement, isn't it?
yes. And I went, yeah, no, I don't think that's true. And he disputed this. So I went, well, I'm going to collect some data. Of course I am, Aleena. Now, look, I have to say,
I remember you asking this of me.
I did. Now, I didn't get ethics approval for this study, but I did get consent from all participants for these data to be shared with you now on the podcast.
Very good.
And including some of the qualitative responses, which I thought were very illuminating.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. You've gone to a bit of effort here. All right.
Okay. So here we go. So yes. So I've broken this down into yes, neutral, or no. All right. So the question is, do you like to receive candles as gifts?
Who's your population? Did you only ask women?
I only asked women because that was what was being debated.
Okay.
The yeses, 40%. 40% said yes, but there were a lot of caveats to this.
Yes,
I
I had a
more data
caveat.
soon.
I said yes.
Everyone who said yes had a caveat. Now, to summarise the caveats, it was basically it has to be high quality with a very nice or neutral scent. It can't be overpowering or have an artificial scent. Mm-hmm. And now I'm just wondering if maybe a lot of the candles that I've had have been there.
I don't think you know a good candle, Janine.
No, look, just wait. Just wait. I have more to say on this. Neutral. 30% were neutral. Okay? Okay, I'll have one, but, feeling quite
What's your sample size?
Sample size is 10. I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that. But I feel this is representative. And look, I'm happy to keep asking. And look, the question I was taught, the phrase was, all women love candles. I have proven it wrong because I have.
Sure.
30% Aleena said, absolutely no, I do not want a candle as a gift. For any reason.
Yes. Okay.
So the statement is wrong. Not all women love candles.
Well done, Janine. Are you going to write this up? Will you?
The Journal of Janine's BS.
Yeah, that's right. I had said...
I have qualitative data here I need to share. What would you like to say on this matter?
All right.
I mean, this also just gives an insight into some of the friends I roll with, right? Because this was just gold. Okay, so here we go. Okay, there's a lot of qualifiers on this question. It depends who the gift is from, how well you know them, and how much you like them. I would not be happy with a candle from a long-term partner. I would expect something more meaningful. That was someone who said they did like candles. But
I totally agree. I get that. And I do like a candle, but it needs to be a high-quality candle. It's not just any candle.
Here's another qualitative piece of data. A nice candle is expensive, so I'd rather receive one as a gift than have to pay for one myself.
Yes, that is a very good point.
I think that was perhaps where you might fall, Aleena.
Yes, I really do enjoy a $50 candle, but I must say to cough that up for myself for a candle, it's a bit much.
Yeah, see, for me, I go, if I need to spend or someone else needs to spend that much money for me to like it, I would rather than spend that much money on something else.
Fair enough.
Like, give it to a charity, seriously.
You're not into smelly things. That's what it is for me.
No,
I enjoy
yeah,
the
I think
smell
that's
of
true.
them throughout the house.
No, I don't like strong smells. That's true. That is another confounding variable here.
That's what it is.
Here, listen to this
otherwise,
quote.
what is it for? They're just there for it to be a light source when the power goes out.
Well, that's okay, I guess. But I've got a rechargeable battery candle thing for that.
Yeah, Janine's
battery
sorted on that
torch.
front.
I don't need that. All right, listen to this one. This was potentially my most favourite qualitative piece of data I got. I wouldn't ask for one. I'd be surprised to receive one. I'm unlikely to ever use one, but they can smell nice and be good for regifting.
Very practical.
I know, that was funny. And this was great. Sorry if I muddy your data, but ask participants if they take baths because I think there would be a correlation between liking candles and taking baths.
Well, let's do it that right now with our sample of 2. Janine, do you like baths?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't think you did.
Yeah, I like baths.
Okay. You don't frequently have a bath though as a relaxation
I don't have a lot of time
exercise.
for baths, but I do like them. Okay, so look, what I learned in this research was that liking candles as gifts was correlated with liking candles in general. Probably not that surprising.
That is not profound.
This is on a serious note, I did reflect on a dislike of getting candles could be correlated with the fear of having a house fire, of which I've had one. I have had a very serious house fire. I think this could be part of it, Aleena.
Yes, fair enough. And I think
I'm not a fan.
People with young children probably don't want to have candles around the house as well.
Yes. In sum, I think it is a risky gift unless you know for a fact that the person likes candles. If you know they like them and they're into them, go to town. But make sure you purchase a good quality one. And if you're thinking about it for me, just send that money to a charity.
Or give it to Janine so she can re-gift it to Aleena, me.
Oh, yeah, okay, do that. That's fine. And I'd like to read out the quote that you sent.
I don't remember exactly what I said.
You said to me, just give yourself permission to love yourself, Janine.
But that was after some back and forth about how you don't like candles and you just don't get it. And I think it is I think the house fire is potentially playing a role here. I really did think about that because I was like, well, even if it smelled good and it wasn't too expensive and I still don't really want a candle on in my house. I think that's what it is. It's fair enough, Janine. You do you. You be your authentic self and hate on candles as much as you want to. Give them all to me as long as they're good quality.
Okay.
If they're not, then no. Save those for when the power goes out and you need a light source to be able to find.
No, I already
your way
have
around.
I have this really cool torch Dad gave me, which has a rechargeable battery that's always charged, and it's great, and I don't need a candle for that.
Okay.
I guess he didn't give you one of those. Sorry, Aleena.
No. You do you.
I will. Aleena, that's my inner square moment for this episode.
That's
I'm
exceptionally
passing the
square.
baton. I know. I'm passing the baton to you.
You did a small study. This is why we need open access science, because people need to have the opportunity to hear about what you just learned.
All right. So, Aleena, would you like to share your inner square?
Well, Janine, actually, because it's Muck Up Day, I'm actually going to do a dumbass moment. I'm going to give you one.
Oh,
Now,
you haven't done one of these yet.
I haven't done one of these yet.
You're not often a dumbass, that's why.
Listeners may remember Janine first introduced this segment in episode 17 of Going With Your Gut, when she foolishly failed to realise that she needed to empty the water container from her new dryer.
Hey, on that, several people have said to me they're glad they're not the only one.
There you go.
It's happened multiple times, so I'd feel a lot better about that. And this is why we need to share these moments.
This segment's doing some good already.
It
Now,
is.
I have to admit, previously I was a bit unsure about revealing our inner dumbass to people listening to this science podcast hosted by two PhDs.
I think that's why it's important, though.
Well, I'm getting into the spirit now because it's Muck Up Day and I'm being my authentic self and I'm tired and I don't care. So, yep, that's right. This thing happened when I was sick with COVID. So hence why my brain may not have been operating at its usual capacity.
I've really
Stay
lost
with
it.
me,
Hang on.
Janine. Mel and I were watching the show Mayor of Easttown. Do you know this one?
Yes.
Yes, okay. It's
not a funny show.
No,
I don't know what
I'm
you're
getting to it. So
Okay.
for listeners, it's a limited series, like murder thriller with Kate Winslet. She's so
it's
cool.
good.
Anyway, we were probably a full episode in and I turned to Mel and asked her, Mel, what does this whodunit American crime drama have to do with rabbit relatives?
What? I don't get it.
So, yes, she looked at me kind of like how you're looking at me now,
Yeah.
justifiably confused, because in my head, I had confused mare with hare, H-A-R-E. I don't know why. And I realised this as soon as I verbalised my question, and we just lost our minds laughing, which for me was super painful and turned into a huge coughing attack because of my COVID. I had confused hare and mare.
Oh, man. A mare is a female horse, right? At least you could have gone with horse.
Well, see, exactly. So it was somehow animals. I confused hare and mare, which is enough on its own as a stupid theme. But what is funniest about this is people who've watched it will know that the mayor in Mayor of Easttown is referring to Kate Winslet's character.
Yeah, that's
Her name is Mare for Mary Ann. And I knew this.
And everyone calls her that
I was
from the
watching
beginning.
the episode. And somehow what was on my mind was still jackrabbits and hares.
Oh, that is so funny. I am crying. I think that's not normal for you, Aleena. I think that is probably COVID-related brain fog and brain inflammation.
Well, the reason all I was doing that day was binge watching stuff was because I was pretty sick.
Yeah.
But that did help to lighten the mood. Not the
long
show.
were you, how long were you
lots of
thinking
crime.
this while you were watching it?
I guess it was the full episode, and also leading up to it because I'd seen it on my, streaming app. I'd seen it and thought, oh, I'll watch that. I like Kate Winslet. Yes, I'll watch that at some time. Thinking, I wonder what that's about. What's the mayor of Easttown mean?
I like Kate Winslet and rabbits.
I like Kate Winslet and rabbits too. All right, so we've got to wrap this up soon. The year is coming to a close. Janine, what are you doing over the break?
So I'm going to do some things around my place. So I'm going to start up a little veggie patch in my yard, particularly with salad leaves, because I hate buying the, lettuce and things in the plastic.
Sure.
And you always buy more than you need. So, I'm going to get into that. And I got
Especially
some really
now
cool...
that they've ceased the soft plastics recycling.
Oh,
Mel and I don't know
no.
what to do with ourselves.
I'm just hoarding it all. What
so
are you
we.
doing? Everyone I talk to is doing the same thing because I can't bring myself to throw it in the bin.
Yeah, so I don't know. Is that Australia-wide or is it just in Queensland?
No, it's Australia-wide. So any international listeners, this is our soft plastics recycling called Red Cycle, where I try not to purchase a lot of stuff in soft plastics as it is, but it's really hard, and at least it had a way to divert it from landfill, and now we've lost it.
Yeah, you can't avoid it 100%.
Yeah, that's made me really stressed, to be honest. But anyway.
Keep hoarding it, Janine, just like you did with your little milk containers.
Well, look, there's got to be a solution eventually.
They will bring it back. We just don't know when.
Yeah, so I'm just going to, look, if you want to store yours in my garage, go to town. We'll create a little
store
corner.
ours in our garage.
Okay. I also got some really nice secondhand chairs for my deck, some wooden chairs, and they're like a bit worn. They're a bit old, so I've gotten some advice on how I need to sand and oil them, bring them up. I'm going to do that.
Well, that's a nice project.
Yeah, and then I want to start a group that goes out to collect wild food. Now, I've got the book here. I've mentioned this to you, Aleena. The book is called Eat Weeds, A Field Guide to Foraging, How to Identify, Harvest, Eat and Use Wild Plants by Diego Bonetto. I got it from the library because it was recommended. It's so awesome. I'm absolutely going to buy it. It's an Australian book, so people overseas, you'll have to have a look and see what kind of equivalent things exist. It has a whole chapter on sea vegetables and how you can go and harvest them.
Yes.
So I want to start a group that goes and does this because I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm trying to find some other people that maybe do. But the book is quite helpful.
That sounds super fun.
I know if there's any squares in the Brisbane region who want to get involved, get in touch with us because I'm going out there. I'm going out to Moreton Bay and I'm going to collect some seaweed and I'm going to eat it.
Good on you. Wow.
Are you going to be in on this?
Sure. You can add that to my list of what I'm doing.
Great.
And we're doing lots of family activities. We're going to the cricket. We're going to the test match.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also going to go to Janine's place to help with whatever she just said about something about her chairs. I've just invited myself to that.
Oh, yeah.
Because that sounded like fun. So actually, I'm going to come and do that.
Yeah, it's like a working bee.
Sure. That sounds great. Okay, so before we say goodbye, Janine, we need an update from you on the podcast. Where are we placed? Where are we sitting?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you may remember when we were first getting started with this, we already had over 300 topics in our mega
I try
list.
not to.
By the end of last year, we had gotten up to 446. Mm-hmm. Now I can report that we're sitting on 571.
Oh, my gosh.
So again, adding to it much more rapidly.
Higher rate than we're getting through them all, yes.
Yeah, because I mean, what do we get through in a year? 10-ish?
We try to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, even 10 a year, that's 57 years of podcasting. And we will add more. Even in the next, just in the last week, you sent me 2 or 3 things just this week.
Yeah, I saw some interesting
You're
things that were
contributing
published.
to this. Don't blame me for this number. All right, so next year, some things that will be coming up are we want to look into bedtime procrastination. People probably can already have a bit of an idea of what that might be. But that's really interesting, and we want to get into some of that psychology. A bit more into epigenetics, a really, really interesting field in genetics. Flow state. What is flow state? And is it the secret to being happy? Let's get into
productive.
that. Yeah. And ASMR. What is that? Why is it so popular? What's going on there?
Yeah.
Just a few things. And we're going to start a new segment next year.
Are we?
We are. Do you remember that I teased this in the very, very, I think in our intro episode, that we wanted to talk about what can we all learn from David Bowie, the king?
Oh, yeah.
It's coming. I've remembered about it. We're going to do it.
I have no idea what that's going to involve, Janine.
I'll discuss that with you offline.
All right, we really want to thank everyone for listening this year, and thanks everyone especially for engaging in the podcast throughout the year. And I want to do a special shout out to Dr. Aleena Schmidt and Professor Carol Borovecki. Sorry if I've mispronounced that. I
think it was Borowiecki, yeah.
Yes. Well,
Aleena, you're meant to be part Polish. Come on.
I have a 10-letter Polish surname. I know how it feels. That's why I'm apologising. But they had some very kind words about our podcast after we covered their research in episode 19 on music and emotion. Dr. Aleena Schmidt said, journal articles can be quite heavy on the stomach, so instead of reading, listen here to a great feature of our recent research.
Yeah, that was lovely. Yeah, that was lovely.
Love that quote. Thank you so much. And that episode on music and emotion was our most listened to in the first week of release.
Yes.
It even went past Tourette syndrome for the first week.
It did, yeah.
So that one really hit the ground running and went off. So thank you so much. And I need to do a mea culpa for mispronouncing a word in that episode. Timbre, referring to the tone or quality of an instrument or voice, not timber as it's written. The hardcore musicians out there would have picked me up on that. So, yes.
That's okay. We forgive you, Aleena.
Always learning, Janine. Always learning.
That's what it's all about.
All right. Have you got anything else you want to say, Janine?
Yeah. I mean, if people want to buy us a coffee via Ko-fi, that would be lovely. Thank you to those who have, including some people doing monthly coffees. That's very much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
We'd love you to rate and review the podcast. Thank you to all those people that did that as well this year. Really awesome to hear your thoughts. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. We'll put some things up over the break so you can see what we're up to. And we'll be back next year.
We will.
To try and attack that 571 item list.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your time off if you are taking time off over the Christmas and New Year period. And
just do you. Everyone out there, just do you.
That's it.
Do whatever you want. Be your authentic self.
And we'll see you in 2023.
Bye.
Bye.